Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Okay. So Mohit Prabhu is just, I'm going to share the screen in a minute, and we should be able to start again.
The only other thing is,
okay, so Prabhu is telling me it will cut off in 40 minutes. So please rejoin, because that's the only practical option we have at the moment. Somehow we can't log in and get our own original ID back. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. Finally. Okay, everyone can see the screen? Hopefully, yes. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Yes, thank you. 322. I don't know how much we discussed. So Krishna is giving his own example. Also, I think last week we discussed about Krishna's Vrindavan Leela versus non-Vrindavan Leela relation to this verse. Anyone remembers an example? Yes. Exactly. And we gave the example of in Dwarka. Anyone remembers which example?
In every palace was in different times and different.
Yeah. So Krishna is not all pervasive in space, it's also in time. So even different time zones, he is there performing his duty. Another reason which Baldev Vidyabhushan tells regarding this pastime.
To set an example, two purposes you said.
Yeah.
First one is to set an example, and the other one is to establish the supremacy of the.
Thank you. So many pastimes, Krishna, Narad Muni, Brahmaji are doing many pastimes. We cannot copy that. So many times, why Krishna is doing something, whatever we don't understand. Those examples are set by Krishna knowingly to establish that he is not one of us. If he's always one of us, he will be not following him so well. So he does, say for example, Govardhan Leela, jumping from a mountain, landing in Dwarka, killing Jarasan 17 Akshaughni army on his own. So these are the pastimes not to be imitated, they're just to be relished, meditated on. And that's why we say we should not follow everything of Krishna unless it's told by Krishna to be followed. If Krishna says follow this, then it's fine. Many of the Leelas of Krishna we cannot follow. Then we go to Lord Ram. He's Maryada Purushottam, but Krishna is Leela Purushottam. So he is doing Leela. Openly he is doing his Leela. And Sanatana Goswami also gives examples of Damodara Ashtak. Krishna is advertising. He is on an advertisement campaign of Golok Vrindavan when he comes to the material world. He is giving a glimpse what exists in Golok Vrindavan. So that's why he has to perform. Unless you get advertised, will you buy the product? That sweater is there in the market, 50% off. Damodar Leela. Just ek diya dikhao, ho gaya kaam. You just offer one lamp and the job is done. So he's on advertisement campaign of Golok Vrindavan when he comes to material world. And he has to do something extraordinary. Otherwise, why will we get attracted? We get attracted to go to America. Why? Good money, good salaries. At least it used to be, not sure what's the current situation. It used to be the case. Why people go to foreign countries? Because much more facilities are there for the worldly pleasure, for example. So we get attracted. If there is no advertisement, that's all we came here. I didn't come here to become Hare Krishna, be honest, to wear dhoti. Maybe Prabhuji came. Shave the head, wear dhoti, speak Bhagavad Gita. I never thought that. I heard there's a green dollar note there. So advertisement, advertisement, advertisement. So this material world is also based on advertisement. We buy this TV because of advertisement. Sofa, so many commodities which we don't even need, we buy because of advertisement. So Krishna is also doing advertisement of Golok to Vrindavan, that what are you doing here? Just little tiny pleasures for tiny amount of time. Come with me, come with me. What's the second verse of Damodar Ashtak? Ananda Kunde. How does it start? Anyone remembers? Iti Draksa Leela Vir Ananda Kunde. Swaghosham Nimanjantam Akhya Payantam. So Ananda Kunde, you want to enjoy Ananda? Come with me, come with me. I will show you the Kunda of Anand, not tiny pleasures, not like 1 or 2 drops of pleasure. One gulab jamun we eat, very nice. One pizza we eat, very nice. Forget it, but if you eat 5 pizzas, and next morning you don't feel nice. So very limited Ananda, very, very limited. Krishna says, come with me, Ananda Kunda. You can just drown in the ocean. That's what the translation is, drown in the pools of ecstasy. So if you want to drown, has to go to Krishna. So the pastimes have multiple levels of reasoning why he does this. And also we discussed Vrindavan is a land of prema. In Dwarka and outside Vrindavan, that's the realm where he established the dharma. So when we look at the prema, in prema, a big judge, Prabhupada said, can become a piggyback of his grandson. He's a big judge of the country, or maybe president of the country, but at home, he is taking his boy with pleasure on his back. And he is becoming a ghoda. And the little boy is kicking his father or grandfather. Jaldi chalo, walk fast, walk fast. And father is very happily doing it. He said, hey, how come a Supreme Court judge is doing like that? That's the realm of prema. There's no bars there. So we can understand those things from multiple perspectives, and no one can argue logically that how Krishna is setting up the example. No, he is setting up the example. Okay, let's move forward. 323. You want to do what, Vijay?
For I ever failed to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties. O Father, certainly all men would follow my path. So here, Yadiha Aham Na Varteyam. Aham is Krishna here. So he says, if I do not engage in performing my prescribed duties, which is like Karmani is prescribed duties.
Yes.
So then my follows that Mama Varta, like men will not follow my path. So here Krishna doesn't have any, set of performed duties, but still he follows, so that all the men following him would follow the same thing what Krishna does.
Yes.
And here you said like there is another verse like 4.11 also had the same second line exactly the same. But Krishna is performing his duty so that other people also perform the same duty what. And if he fails, then they will quote him as an example. He didn't do it, so I don't want to do it.
True.
So in order to make that doesn't happen, he is performing his duty.
Yes. And similarly, he's saying to Arjun, if you also do not perform, people will give you an example. If Arjun run away from his duties, I can also run away. And also one important word here is atandritaha. So tandra refers to laziness, sleep, lethargy. Atandrita means without laziness. So I'm performing my duties atandrita. So that also is very, very important. In Hindi, there's a word called begar karna. Kaam karo, begar mat karo. Some people begar. Begar means don't do in a way which feels burden. Like if you ask Prabhuji, can you help in cutting vegetables? Now Prabhu comes and he starts, cutting his hand or throwing the bottles here and there. The whole kitchen is much more mess than before he came. It's like, okay, Baba, I don't need your help. You go and sit in the sofa. I'll make vegetables. Sometimes people do in such a way that you will feel like holding their hand. You'll never ask them again. They will do in such a way. Prabhu, I'm trying to help you, but Prabhu, thank you so much. So many times people do it, but in such a way you feel like, I don't need your help. So atandrita is important. Without lethargy, whatever is needed to be done needs to be done. When Prabhu was giving an example, in a devotee community, someone was chanting after 8 o'clock, and he said, please come and help. He said, Prabhu, I'm chanting my rounds. He said, rounds before 8 o'clock. Now it's a working time. you work. You cannot be just hanging with your mala whole day and you can ignore your duties. No, there's a time for mala, there's a time for your kitchen duties or your outside duties. There's time for everything. You cannot take the bead bag and say, Prabhu, I have to finish my rounds. There's a time for everything. Now finish your other duties, you come back and finish your rounds. So you cannot take that as an excuse. Oh Prabhu, I have to do this. You haven't done in the morning, then you struggle in the night. Okay, let's move forward. 324. I see Rupam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
So,
Hare Krishna.
so 3.24. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would therefore destroy the peace of all living beings. So probably here Krishna continues his analysis on impacts of not doing the prescribed duties. And in this verse particularly, Krishna is talking about Varna Shankara. So Arjuna in chapter 1, Shlok 40 talked about Varna Shankara, and if he fights and all the leaders within the society are killed, then that will ultimately lead to the birth of Varna Shankara. But Krishna here says that even if you don't fight, it will still lead to the birth of unwanted progenies in the society. So Arjuna's argument of Varna Shankara, linking it with not fighting, has been kind of checkmated here. And Krishna is again going back to the philosophy that you will have to fight. I mean, in either case, there will be, it will lead to that. So you better fight it.
Yeah. So better to follow the prescribed duty, set up the right example, and then see what happens. Also, important word here is aham. So in the second line, the last word, it says, Utsi derume loka na kuryam karma ched aham. So if I am not involved in, Prabhupada writes, if I did not perform prescribed duty, all these words, ime loka, so it's the first line, it says, ime loka, this loka, all these words will put to ruination, which is Utsi deyu word. Sankarishcha karta syam uphanya imaha praja. So imaha praja, ime loka, Krishna is emphasizing twice. So if I am not involved in doing my prescribed duty, I will be responsible to put this world into ruination because of the unwanted progeny. Okay, let's move 325.
Translation 325. As the ignorant performs their duty with attachment to the result, the learned may similarly act but without attachment for the sake of leading us on the right path. So this is verses for others how they should perform a duty. So the ignorant person do the duties being attached to the result, but a person with knowledge don't get attached to the result, and they show the path for they are the learning kind of people.
Yes.
So here the attachment word used is sapta detached.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And how this is ignorant. So the ignorant are getting attached to the people.
Exactly.
Whereas Vidwan is a learned person, he is not attached to the
Yes.
yeah. Setting a path to others.
Yes.
So Loka Sankara is talking to people in general.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll just repeat because they may not be able to hear. So Saktaha is attachment. Karmane obviously is the prescribed duty. Avidvansa. So Vidwan is a scholarly, knowledgeable person. Avidwan is one who is not very knowledgeable. So Yatha Kurvanti Bharat. So as these Avidwans are doing their duty, but how they are doing their duty, the important word is Saktaha. They are attached. Now, whom they are referring to? First line, Karmakandis. So Karmakandis are always attached to the activity as well as the result. And what's the difference between Karmakandi and Karmayogi? Yeah, so they're both attached to the activity, but one is attached to the fruits. I have done the yajna, so I should be enjoying the fruits of the yajna. But here a person is doing yajna, same yajna, but the mentality is, it's my duty to do it. I'm a grahastha, I'm a kshatriya, I'm a brahmana. Let's do the yajna, it's my prescribed duty. But what the result will come? Offer it to Vishnu. Offer it to Vishnu. So Kuryat, Vidwans. So the word, you can say contrast the word Avidwans and Vidwans. Kuryat to karma. Tatha asakta. So sakta to asakta. So 3 words you can take. Vidwan, avidwan, kuryad and karma, and asakta and saktaha. So you can compare. So similar activities done by Vidwan, a scholarly, a knowledgeable person, but he is asakta. And why is he doing? Chikurshu Loka Sangraha, for the setting up the right example in Loka. Okay, 326. Nidhi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. You were there
So
last week, Mataji?
Prabhu, I was, but I left in between. So I'll just read the translation a little bit if I know.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. So I think in this verse, if ignorant person is performing their duty to achieve the goal of like fruitive results, then the learned person should not maybe not disrupt them from doing the duty, and they should set an example by performing their duty without focusing on the results. They can set the example for them to see, so that they can learn from their example. That's what.
Yes, thank you. Just one important word, and you reverse in this verse, Joshaye. So Joshaye word is very, very important. This is the word which we always listen when we come to ISKCON. That please dovetail your skills given by Krishna. So if you're an artist, you are a great cook, great singer, great intellectual, there is no problem with that. This is the verse. 326 is the verse given by Krishna. Personally, Joshiyet, Sarva Karmani. How many karmas you can Joshiyet? Okay, Bhakti Puja you can Joshiyet. What about having a family, having a house? It says Sarva Karmani. Krishna is saying. So Prabhupada has not made it up. It's written here, right, by Krishna. Sarva Karmani. Every activity you can dovetail. Lust you can dovetail in the service of Krishna. Greed you can dovetail in the service of Krishna. Anger you can dovetail in the service of Krishna. Obviously, there are ways to dovetail them. You cannot dovetail on your own. You have to be dovetailed under the guidance of a spiritual master. But you can dovetail all these in the service of Krishna. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, if my kids are Krishna conscious, I would like to have hundreds of kids. Hundreds of kids. He's a sannyasi, the Bal Brahmachari. I would like to have hundreds of kids. Why? Because they are Krishna conscious. They're going to increase this movement. So, Joshe the Sarva Karmani. And who is doing that? Vidwana, not Avidwana. Vidwan Yukta Samacharan. Now, the one more important point in this verse is, from the previous verse, what we learned, activity is same. Vidwan is doing a different way. Avidwan is doing a different way. So, Vidwan is doing Asakta. Vidwan is doing Vidwan is doing Asakta, non-attached, and Avidwan is doing Sakta. Now, if the Vidwan says, this is Avidwan person, he is doing with Sakta, with attachment, let me go and preach him. So Krishna says immediately next verse, hang on a second. Sometimes we over preach. And then what happens? It backfires. We've seen so many examples. So our intention may be correct. Shastra is correct. What you are saying is correct. But still, the result is incorrect. Why? Because of this verse we can see. What a Vidwan does, he does not disturb it. Na buddhi vedam. Vedam refers to Gusjana. Hanuman went to Lanka, inside Lanka. Vedana. There's a word Vedana, piercing inside. So you should not pierce their intellect. Telling us. It says in 7th chapter, right, for whoever is worshipping demigods, Krishna says, let them worship demigods. I am the one who's increasing their faith in demigods as well. It's written. And we see so many examples when people immaturely got preached about the positions of demigods, they could not accept. They will left Krishna. So rather, Vidwan, what he does, Vidwan Yukta Samacharan. So he practices, but he does not disturb their mind. So Very clear verse and very simple, very nice verse. Na buddhi vedam. So we should not do bheda of the buddhi. Huh? They are saying my mata is better or my that demigod is better. No problem. You just add Krishna. You just add just one round of mala. Do you have problem with Krishna's existence? No, I don't have problem. Krishna is fine, and Durga ji is also fine, Ganesh ji is also fine, and Baba ji is also fine. That's okay. So you put Krishna down and say, okay, no problem. You just add Krishna. Come to temple, take prasad. Usme kya jata hai? What's the loss in coming to a program in Schofields and taking prasad? That is okay. That's it. Huh? So Vidwan, that you have to be mature. And we know how sannyasis are so mature. Huh? Anything it is, that's all right. That's all right. I'm remembering Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, his magnetic face, you just said anything to Maharaj. It's okay. It's okay. Just cool and calm. Huh? Nothing will disturb Maharaj ever. Or any other sannyasi for that sake. Huh? But we get disturbed. Hey, how can you do this? And they are like, okay. They know this verse very well, We can't. We just too low. But they understand how to dovetail this particular person from this to that. I remember an example, just remembering when Indradu Maharaj disciple, a female disciple, her husband was a big Don mafia in Russia. He was killing people, not in retail, in wholesale. Anyway, somehow Mataji became devotee, and I heard this past time in some lecture. So Mataji was very intelligent, very patient. You can understand. Hare Krishna versus a mafia, and not mafia of drugs or something, Sida, full on, finish. She was very patient. It took years of her patience and intelligence. And this person became initiated devotee of Indradu Maharaj later. It's a big story. I'm not going to do too much story now. Now we talk about our impatience. Look at this example. Prabhupada's sister, she was married to a man. Prabhupada says that he was eating meat. Now Prabhupada's sister, coming from a pure Vaishnava family, she was cooking meat for the husband because the husband wanted it. Prabhupada never said, oh, how can you cook meat? 50 years later, after marriage, 50 years, this man comes to Prabhupada. In his old age, Prabhupada is old, he is old. He said, I should not have eaten meat. But Prabhupada never told her sister, stop this. So Prabhupada or great acharyas, they know when to do, what to do. Just don't overstep in others' life. His sister, own sister. And she herself is coming from the same family where Prabhupada is coming from. Mishima. Prabhupada never disturbed. So many times, we should become a little more mature. In something is happening, is happening. Let it be. You do what you can do. But she was very much attached to Prabhupada. Yes.
A question. I mean, how do we, for instance, people, when they come, they do things, but they don't take up something.
Yeah. So as far as I understand, Prabhuji, with my little understanding, the first thing they relate with you rather with your philosophy. So if you are able to relate with you, they will be able to relate with the philosophy. If they're not able to relate with you, it's difficult for them. You means you as a person, as a community, as a group of friends. So first thing is our own connection with them. If that is successful, everything else will follow. If that is not successful, you'll see even successful projects become failure. They're successful for a while and then they become failure because they never understood the tattva of it. And that's why devotees also go through so many calamities. But one who is stuck to the philosophy of understood it, or stuck with the principles of Krishna consciousness, they stay in the long game. For others, they come and go. When he take initiation, 16 rounds, and then zero. I was speaking to some devotee, probably I can share. He was speaking, now the devotee and this devotee was sharing with me. He was saying, I don't remember when was the last time I chanted my Gayatri. He's telling. It's a big statement. So he's not talking the first initiation, he's talking the second one. Sometimes the Prabhupada received a parcel. And you know what was left in the parcel? Prabhupada in America receives a parcel. And what is in the parcel? Danda. You understand what I'm saying? In the parcel, Prabhupada receives a danda back. But Prabhupada was very, very, very compassionate, even to those people who have returned the danda in a parcel. They can't face Prabhupada. So The bottom line, we should be extremely patient, extremely patient. Krishna is the controller, we are not. We are very little. We can only try. Sometimes it works, and that shows when it doesn't work, we are not the controller. It's not we have converted someone, but we will convert. First, let ourselves become a devotee. So when it worked, it was Krishna's inspiration. Maybe mouth was yours, hand were yours when you gave Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is the one. So that's why it's actually very nice when the failure comes. We understand we are not in control at all.
And actually, like that third lecture, Krishna is waiting for millions and millions of years for us to go back to him. He's waiting very patiently for you, but then why can't you wait
Yes.
patiently for the ones who think?
Yeah. We should be patient, and we should also understand life is extremely complex, especially these days. It's not easy. We are very quick to judge others or other situations without understanding the full picture. Leave it to the superiors. We do what we can do, and then Hare Krishna.
But still, we continue to do the service.
We continue to do the service as per our capacity. Under the guidance of our seniors, we continue to perform the service. I heard from, I think, Raghunath Maharaj, he says, the form, in due course of time, our form of service may change. Today, you may have a lot of Shakti, you can do a lot of book distribution, Harinam. Tomorrow, your Shakti may get reduced. All the situations around you can change, but the aspect of service attitude should not change. Sometimes we get stuck in the service. If I am a cook, I have to cook for Krishna. Okay. Tomorrow, some other service, Krishna would like to have some other service from you. So the attitude should not change. Service may change because we have no control over circumstances. So we should be ready to accept the services which Krishna is providing. He's giving this service today. That's fine. Tomorrow he will give another service. What's the problem? I'm attached to the service attitude, not the service itself. And many times that becomes an issue. I've been number one for last 10 years. How can you change my service? Well, Krishna is the controller. Just to put us in a different frame of mind. He does that sometimes. You want to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So would that be that she would be getting the impacts of doing that activity because she was?
No, she's dependent. As per Vedic culture, she's following Vedic culture. She's dependent. She is doing the right duty. When you kill under the commandment of your commander, your enemy, you don't get the simple reaction. Your commander gets the simple reaction. So if you are fighting for a country, for example, and your commander says, kill all these people. You say, hey, it will be a simple activity. Actually, commander gets, if it was wrong, it was Dharma Yuddha. That's the problem of Arjuna's prescribed duties. Who's the commander, who's responsible? And saying, I don't want to be responsible for the killing. But now Krishna says, this is Dharma Yuddha. And this is why Bhagavad Gita is opening up our mind from so many different perspectives. It's not we are talking here a mode of goodness, to be very honest. Mode of goodness, Arjuna is in mode of goodness. Huh? He's actually in pure goodness. That's at least showing he's in mode of goodness. You listen to arguments. Are they wrong arguments? No. So we have to open up to the higher realms. And that's where the problem is. Many times devotees struggle, all of us in different situations, because our mind is very set to a particular activity, and that may be a good activity in mode of goodness. You are right. Shastra is saying yes, it's right, but there is more to it. It's just not one aspect to it. There's more to it, and that's why we have time, place, and circumstances, and we have the guidance of superiors. That's why understanding a person or a situation is not that easy, which we think. It's quick. It doesn't work that way. So no, she's not getting reactions actually. If she is cooking for her pleasure, actually, I like it. Believe me or not, but I like it. Okay, go for it. You like it, you're responsible for it, you'll get the reaction for it. But I'm working as a dependent on someone. As per Vedic culture, I will not get reaction. He will get the reaction.
But in this case, not doing something related to Vedic culture, right?
He'll get the reaction. That's what I said. He'll get the reaction. He's making someone else to do the same thing as a part. Authority in the house. Authority in the house. So many people do many wrong things, but they are responsible. That's why Krishna said, if you take my shelter, I will become responsible for your path. But if you are on your own, no problem. Sometimes, you make your kid understand, beta, don't do it like that, do it like that, it's safer for you. Then finally, nahi, you say, okay, baap, do whatever you want to do. Then you are responsible. If you fall down, you are responsible for your hurt. Because father and mother are saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But finally, kid says, no, I have to do this. Okay. With folded hands, with all the humility. If you want to do, you will face the consequences. Are you happy with that? Yes, daddy. Okay, here we go. And then after 1 year, knock the door. Daddy, can I talk to you? I told you. Anyway, we have seen all these different situations, but that's okay. This is how we learn. Someone wants to learn hard way, no problem. Krishna says, no problem. You're still my son. Take a detour. Come back after 10 million lifetimes. You really like that? No problem. Some people know. I have to do the right thing from the day one. Some people are short learners, some people are quick learners, some people are long learners. There are 4 types of learner. One who learn by hearing, one who learn by seeing, one who learn by experience, and the 4th type is never learn at all. They go to jail again and again and again and again. Hindi movies you must have seen. Ye to roz ke aane jaane wale hai. They just come as a guest. This week they go out, next week they come in. They don't learn. So it's not the government's fault. It's the person is not learning. Is it okay? Yes, yeah. Okay. Ujjwala Mataji or Akhand Rasa Prabhuji has a question. It's a big topic. Not right in.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yeah. We do everything. We serve Krishna in all different ways, and we use everything in the Lord's service. So lust, anger, and greed also we can dovetail in the service of the Lord. But the envy can't be done, right? Envy.
Thank you. I was going to say that I didn't say knowingly, otherwise they open up as another topic. Yes, and there are reasoning behind it. Because envy is not a mul. Envy is a perverted reflection of love. So envy cannot be used in the service of the Lord. It says, except envy, all the anarthas can be used, channelized properly under the guidance for the service of the Lord. Thank you,
yeah,
Mataji.
But sometimes it may happen that somebody has done a very nice service and the other devotee may feel, not out of envy or jealousy, but may feel that, wow, beautiful service. But I want to do even better for the Lord's service to please the Lord. So what is that feeling then? Where is that coming from? That's not envy or jealousy. But
This is inspiration. This is inspiration. And that's why we seek in the devotee community inspiration. We are not envious. We are genuinely saying, oh, Prabhuji or Mataji, you're doing so many wonderful services, although, you may also have many duties. I'm really inspired to see you. When you come home, I'm talking in your mind, you don't have to talk, and you feel inspired and you come home, I can get up half an hour early. I'm chanting 4 rounds. I can chant 6 rounds. Look at this devotee. His situation, material situation may be worse than my situation, but this is called inspiration, a true inspiration. True encouragement is not coming with our words. I'm giving class and no. That's why they say it's the example. I'm listening to Chaitanya Prabhu, and he is very poetic in his speech. So if I remember correctly, he says the example of power is greater than the power of example. Example of power means I show my power to others. I am a great king, or I'm in a great situation, and I keep bragging about myself. Because I'm in a powerful, authoritative situation. But that doesn't work so much. What works actually, is the example, the power of example. If there's a correct example in front of you, I can see many, but Prabhupada, he also struggled so much, but he still did what he did. He did not have to even preach from his mouth. He just look at his Leelamrit and just read what Prabhupada went through and what I am going through. You will automatically get inspired. Even if you're not willing to read Bhagavad Gita, you read Prabhupada Leelamrit. You'll get inspiration to read Bhagavad Gita. You'll get inspiration to chant rounds. You'll get inspiration to go to temple and do some seva. Prabhupada did so much. And many times devotees are weak because they're not reading the right examples. So we get this positive inspiration from others, and that is very wonderful. And actually, this is what our key of sustenance in Krishna consciousness is: a positive inspiration from other devotees. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
Very quickly, I wanted to ask, like the example of Ishima, she went back home, back to Gaurad, and that there's this whole uh, pastime which is very beautiful, and she followed her dharma entire life, and I was just sometimes I read the stories of different devotees, even the like Srila, even like Prahlad Maharaj, he stood up against his father, and he was a Paramhamsa. And there are devotees who just like Vidura. He didn't like, but so to understand is that understanding from different devotees is like everybody has a different like this time, place, circumstances to into consideration, or how to understand when there are different stories, different examples we analyze. Some of them are almost in the same situation, but like some are quiet, some are like they stand up. So is it
Yeah.
because of to understand time, place, circumstances, or how to understand?
Okay. Mataji's question is basically Prahlad, he stood up against his father, but Vidura didn't. Vidura sort of followed. So we have more examples in Srimad Bhagavatam, like Akrura. Akrura was also serving Kansa for a long period of time. So obviously the explanations are given for each, but as a principle, one principle which we can all follow: work under your superiors, get their guidance. Our maturity may not be so mature as yet that to stand against that particular principle, or to just quietly serve for a number of years. Akrura actually served Kansa for that reason, because he knew, if I leave Kansa, I may not be able to meet Krishna. And for that, he served Kansa for 11, actually around 20 years or something. It's a long period. He was very patient. So one more thing.
It's going to get disconnected.
Okay, Prabhuji is telling it's going to get disconnected. So if you do, please log back and we will see you. I'll continue till the time Zoom kicks me out. Prahlad actually stood against in a very unique way. He was never disobedient to his father in a sense as per Vedic culture. He was very respectful to his father. He never started, blaming his father for his atrocities. He was very respectful, and he was doing the things, but his father could not understand. So we can also have. Mataji, you're on mute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, when we were discussing about that, the sin goes to the commander, and if the follower is just following the instructions. In the same example, Prabhuji, I just wanted to clarify. For instance, a child is not, a mother thinks if the child is not in a position to observe the fast of Ekadashi, and if a mother is telling, out of love, or I don't know, for whatever, that it's okay, have grains, and then maybe when you grow a little bit older, then you would be able to follow Ekadashi. Then in that case, because the commander is a mother or a father, would the mother and father get the sin of Ekadashi still?
Okay. All these practical questions are coming up. So I hope everyone heard the question. I'll just quickly repeat. So Mataji's question is, if a child is not following Ekadashi, mother says, beta, please have some grains. And when you are grown up, you can follow Ekadashi. Again, Mataji, it's a big topic. In a nutshell, there's age given. So under 7, actually, children are not supposed to. This is between, some says 8 and 80. So between 8 and 80, you must follow Ekadashi. Under 8 and above 80, you are excluded. Now, don't do it out of laziness because of health reasons. If you have to do, just do it. That's all right. And in between, the answer given by our acharyas is, so mother and father has to cook so many nice dishes on Ekadashi. So children will look forward for Ekadashi. Mama, when is the next Ekadashi? So it's our responsibility. Now, after a certain age, obviously we have no control. Then we give them the control, and they are accountable as per Yamaraj Manusmriti as well. After 8, they are accountable for their own sinful actions. Now, obviously, we are not giving them full charge of each and everything, but they are also owning their sinful reactions. Now,
Sure.
if we have contributed in that culture, you understand? culture of them sinning, we also get the same. And that's why there's a personal karma and there's a group karma, family karma. All exist. We have to be extremely careful in all that. But at the same time, at the end of the day, we are all individual souls. We are here temporarily together. We are trying our best, but we are not the controller. With all our sincerity, we are trying. And then what happens? Best example which I give, Yudhishthir Maharaj, one name was Ajat Shatru, one whose enemy is never born. Now, externally speaking, Yudhishthir Maharaj had so many enemies. You said, what sort of name is that? But he internally never thought one person as his enemy. Although he's fighting the war, he's not thinking he's my enemy, and as soon as I get an opportunity, I will crush him and make him a powder because he has insulted me. So that's all we can do. What others do to us, what situations do to us, we have very little control. But we should try with our sincerity. And someone said, one Maharaj, I can't remember which, I think Bhakti Shastri Maharaj said, keep praying, 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 praying. Pray to Krishna for yourself, pray to Krishna for others, and you be a nice devotee. What happens to that next person, with all our sincerity, not much we can do. And always be under the guidance of your superiors. Explain yourself, take their guidance, and move forward. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Let's move forward. Today is a nice discussion. Where were we? 327. That goes to Manmohan Prabhuji, the best verse.
And so bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activity that are in actuality carried out the three modes of material nature. So this verse, Atma, the spirit soul, Karta, doer. So the spirit soul is thinking that he is the doer, Aham, I. So he is the doer of the activity. Actually, it's the three modes to do the activity. He's only designing. I don't know if you gave the example of someone's with the axe, like a person who was cutting the tree with the axe. So,
Baldev Vidya Bhushan gave, not me.
I
mentioned it. Yeah.
So the tree is being cut by the axe. So action is actually being done by the axe. So that's how you explain the three modes are actually doing it. And Paramatma in the heart is actually, kind of sanctioning that activity. Until he sanctions, that activity cannot happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's all.
And that sanction is also depending on our deservance. So the desire versus deservance. We desire many things, but we only get those things which we deserve. And that will be decided by our previous karma. An example given in Shastra again, if a cow or a goat is being bound by a rope, if the rope is say 2 meters, so the perimeter of 2 meters, the goat can go anywhere, no problem. She has full freedom. But after the 2 meters, she will try. So we are like the same. So based on our karmic reactions, good or bad, whatever, we get certain facilities. Within that boundary, we feel like the king. But after that, you step into your neighbor's property, he will charge you with the trespassing. How come you are here on my property? I did not allow you to come. And maybe a big drama there. But in your house, you can do whatever. So we have certain area where we feel free and king and I'm the authority, this and that. Okay, hang on a second. After that, your area finishes. So, credit card limit, You keep spending, and then it, it's not working. What happened? I was spending yesterday, it was working. Yes, Prabhuji, your limit, you crossed your limit. So sometime, we talk about Raman and Kansa. They're doing so much pap. So in Hindi, they say, pap ka ghada abhi bhara nahi hai. The pitcher of their sin are not full yet. So when the pitcher of their sin is full, then they will get the reaction.
Same example was when Shishupal was born.
Shishupal, same, 100 gali, 100 abuses. Krishna tolerated till that point. So everyone has that, boiling point. After that, some reaction will come. So we should not trigger that as much as possible. Okay, let's move forward to 28. Karishka Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I wasn't actually here last week.
Okay, no problem. I'll get you to read next verse. That's okay. Who was here? Online, offline? Okay. Ujjwal Rasa Mataji, would you like to do? Or Akhand Rasa Prabhu, any one of you? 328? The last one, right?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, I'll try.
Hare.
Verse 28. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. So in here, Krishna is giving the knowledge about the person who has knowledge of the absolute truth. So he's addressing Arjuna that, O Mahabahu, mighty armed. So he's talking about the person who has knowledge, the knowledge of the absolute truth. Such a person, he does not engage himself in the guna and guneshu, in the activities for the pleasure of his senses, or he does not engage in the activities for his own sense gratification, because he knows the vibhagayo, he knows the differences between the work that is being done in devotion and the work which is done for fruitive activities, sajjate, becoming attached. So when one becomes attached to the fruitive activities, what is the difference between that and the work done in devotion? Knowing that he does not engage himself in the activities for his own pleasure of the senses and sense gratification. That is
Thank
what
you, very nice. She has picked up all the words very nicely. Huh? Thank you. This is how we can relish the Bhagavad Gita. And the one word is also the top one, Tattvavit, which is 434 as well. Tattvavit Mahabaho. So one who is a knower. So previous one, what he was saying, one who is not knowing. So that person is not in too much knowledge. But this one, a contrasting verse saying Tattvavit, a person who knows about it, he does not get engaged to guna or gunesha. Guna refers to the senses here, not the mouth, and gunesha refers to sense gratification. So he doesn't get engaged. Now you'll say, oh, he's not eating, he's not sleeping. No, he's engaged, but not nasajjate, not in a attached way. I'm not bhogi. We'll read in 5.910 how this person, which is Tattvavita, is engaging his senses in the word. Krishna will explain that. So everyone has to, eat, sleep, and do all those things. But he's, Krishna very beautifully explains, he's an observer of senses being engaged. Rather than being a bhogi, he's an observer. Like two boys are playing, you're just watching, you're an observer, you're not playing the game. So similarly, you see your senses and sense engagement as an observer, as a third party. My eyes are seeing. My nose is involved in smelling something. My hands are involved, but he is not involved. So you have to separate. Guru Maharaj says you have to become an observer of your activities. Then you can step back and then take the right course of action. Very important to become the observer within yourself. You don't have to become a split personality. The term in medical, right? The split personality of people behave in a certain. There's another one. Split personality is the word. P से start होता है. Psychiatric वाले को पता होगा. Anyway, I heard about it. So we don't have to become a split personality. We just have to become mature. So we have to become an observer of our senses being engaged in the world. Very nice. Because when third person is trying to, an example given by Chaitanya, very nice. On Ekadashi day, if someone offers you a grain cake, for example, or anything like that, so no, Prabhuji, I'm fasting. I will not take this. You're very clear about it. But when your mind itself tempts you, then you cannot say no. When your mind tempts you for something, something immoral or some anger or anything like that, then you cannot say no. You think, oh, because my mind is saying I have to follow, but actually you don't have to follow. If you're an observer, so if you become third party, you can easily say no. But if you think my mind is me, then whatever your mind dictates, you will do it. And then what mind will dictate, only God knows. Only God knows what he will dictate. Okay, let's move to 329, which is the first verse today. Okay, should I ask Kanishka Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I will definitely try, Prabhu. Prakrite guna samuta.
Prakrite guna sammudaha.
Sajante guna kamasu.
Sajante guna karmasu.
Hana Tan Kritsna Vido Mandan.
Tan Akrisan Vido Mandan.
Kritsna Vinna Vichalaye.
Krishna Vinna Vichalaye.
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So you remember the similar verse, 326 or something? Huh? Same thing Krishna is saying. Let's look at the words here. Prakteha gun samudha. Samudha refers to mudha, samudha. Mudha is foolish. Samudha means completely foolish. Where this word is used earlier? 327. Prakteh gun samudha. Pratyek kriyamanani guna hi karmani samcha ahankar vimudhatma. Vimudhatma. Ida samudha. Okay. Vimudhatma, mudha sab same. So prakteh gun samudha. So samudha refers who's completely bewildered by the modes of material nature. Prakteh gun samudha. How is mudha? Because he's thinking karta ahamiti manite. Sajante good karma. So he's involved with attachment with karma, with the prescribed duties. Tan, those, a Christian. So Christian word you will read in Bhagavad Gita many times. Christian means complete. So a Christian means incomplete. So a Christian vido. Vido refers to knowledge. Vid, Ved. They all refers to the same root word is knowledge. A Christian vido. So his knowledge is complete or incomplete? Incomplete. A Christian vido. Mandan, and they are manda. Manda refers to not you're driving slowly. Mandan refers to Prayan Alpayusha Manda. Prayan Sabya Kala Asmin Yuge Jana Mand Sumand Matiyo Mand Bhagi Upadrata. What does Manda refers to there? Dull-minded in what? People are very active actually in the material world. What does dull refers to there? So literal translation is correct. What's doesn't understand the spiritual knowledge. For material knowledge, they are very active, very smart people. How to become crorepati overnight? There are videos and seminars, people paying $5,000, $10,000, I heard. Very active, very intelligent. Ye calculation, this calculation, that algorithm, that algorithm. And you ask them, Prabhuji, Janmashtami festival, please come to the temple. Dekhenge. We'll see, we'll see. As if they are going mercy on Krishna by coming to Janmashtami. If they give $10, they will show to the whole world, I gave donation to the temple. There was a man, I heard, very conjuice, very miser man. He never give any donation. So someone told him, see, you haven't done any donation in your life. Please give some donations. You will be saved from the hell. So he said, really? So he gave 5 rupees. 5 rupees in a temple. And he said, give me the receipt. Give me the receipt. So anyway, he died in due course of time. He arrived in Yamloka in front of Yamraj. So Yamraj asked him, so Mr. So-and-so, have you ever done any good activity? I can see all your life you have been doing wrong activities. So this person was very intelligent. He said, yes, I have done one donation. So really? I gave 5 rupees. He said like that, 5 rupees. So Yamraj took that receipt out. And in front of him, gave it back. He said, here is your 5 rupees. Now go to hell. You gave 5 rupees, I'll give 5 rupees back. Now go to hell. So that 5 rupee receipt will not save us. So our 10,000 or 100,000 donation is not going to save us. Honestly, that's not going to save us. Krishna does not see how much we give. Krishna sees how much we hold back. It's the attitude by which we give. Attitude is important. Activity is not so important. So, Tan Akarsan Vido Mandan. So, Mandan refers to, I was saying, lack of spiritual understanding, lack of interest in getting spiritual knowledge. So, you cannot just say they are dull. They are very good people, like very active. They're making, Apple computer. I can see one Apple computer here. The intelligence is needed. They are very hardworking. They work 22 hours a day. But for spiritual subject matter, so this refers to Mandan, refers to their lackness, their dullness in understanding or interest in spiritual subject matter. So Tan, Akarsan Vido, so their knowledge is not complete. They may be big professors. I shared one video, if you remember, which I saw in Radhesham Prabhu's lecture. A dog was barking as many times as the master say. He says, 3, wow, wow, wow. 3 plus 2, he could do all this. He did minus and pluses as well. Amazing, huh? So Radheshyam Prabhu said he must be a mathematics professor in last part. But what is the use of that knowledge? Huh? He may be feeling I'm a Nobel laureate. I'm such a big person. I'm a president of America or whatever. Tan akristan vido mandan. Krishna openly saying you're mandan. So our intellect, pure intellect will not impress Krishna. Will not. We may not know anything. We see Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Angutha Chap, complete illiterate person. He is the guru of Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, the most scholarly person of his time in India, or I should rather say in history. He is accepting this person as his guru. There has to be something in that guru. Angutha Chap. He doesn't know how to read and write. His own name he cannot write, but is the guru of that person. So it's the attitude which we are trying to develop in the association of devotees, which will please Krishna. It's not the knowledge we are gaining. Knowledge is very, very small. Yeah, knowledge should lead to love of Krishna. That's what we are trying to read. So when we know more about a person, Bhakti Swami Maharaj gave a very nice class. He said, we all know Krishna is great, but we don't know how great is Krishna. He says, when we know the real greatness of Krishna to our capacity, then we start loving Krishna. I really like that point. We know Krishna is great. Bhagwan is very nice. We don't know how great he is, how compassionate, how loving he is. So through these books and scriptures reading together, association of devotees, we're trying to know the depth of love of Krishna. Then our love will also develop. Oh, this person loves me so much. A mundane example in Hindi movie, you see a hero is loving an actress so much, loving this, and so many indications he gives. He can get beaten up by so many gundas. He will jump from this building. He will go here, do there, and then finally she will surrender. So we will also, a jiva, a very obstinate jiva, will surrender by seeing the love of Krishna for us. That is what the scriptural study should do to us. That is a fruit of a scriptural study. Generate love for Krishna. Okay, the last line. So akarsan vido, we understand that, who's a mandan, who's a dull-minded person, his knowledge is incomplete. But to that person, a kirsan means tattvavid, previous verse, same thing. Kirsan means complete, vin means knowledge. His knowledge is complete, a kirsan with knowledge is not complete. So what a vidwan will do, kirsan will do, na vichalayet, he will not disturb. All right, you rascal, you're spending your time in work, come and join Hare Krishna movement. What he will say, get out, get out. So what a vidwan will do, kirsan will do, come to the program. Prabhupada was walking somewhere, and he asked a question to his disciples and followers in that group. So, Krishna's devotee is simple or crooked? He asked this question, Krishna's devotee is simple or crooked? What did his disciples say? Immediately, simple, Prabhupada, simple. Prabhupada said, no, he's crooked. Prabhupada said, he's crooked. See, I tricked you all. I said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. I got you all in. Now you're all in anxiety. But then Prabhupada said, but now you're in Krishna's anxiety. He said, previously you were in material anxiety, now in Krishna's anxiety, how to build the temple, how to increase the preaching mission, how to involve more people, how to give more facility to the deities. They're all anxieties. You have to deal with so many obstacles, but now you're in Krishna anxiety. So in Krishna anxiety, it's very good. Material anxiety, not good. Prabhupada said, Krishna's devotee is crooked. Shrutigate Prabhu was sharing this pastime in the lecture. I was in Mayapur. So he said, Krishna's devotee is crooked. And once you put the hook in the neck of the fish cannot come out. So this is Krishna hook. Krishna hook. It will never come out. Krishna is so attractive. Okay, 3:30. Who will read 3:30? Happy? I can see Jamati Mataji's hand, Jaiprakash Prabhu's hand. Okay, Jaiprakash Prabhu, you're ready. You can read. Maybe Jamati Mataji can go next.
Prabhu, sorry. Can I read this one because I need to drive to temple? That's all.
Okay, no problem, Mata. Please do.
Yeah.
Jaiprakash Prabhu is very kind.
So verse 30 is Mai Sarvani Karmani.
Mai Sarvani Karmani.
Sanyasa Hadyatma Chetasa.
Sanyas Adhyatma Chetasa.
Nirasher Nimano Bhutava.
Nirasher Nimano Bhutava.
Hyasva vigata java.
Yuda yasva vigata jaraha.
Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy 5.
Thank you, Mataji. So now this verse is a clear, which categorized verse? Instructional verse. Huh? Clear instruction, customized instruction for Arjun. It has come after 238, 239, when Krishna had given first instruction to Arjuna of really fight. Now this verse carries very important 4 points. So previously, when Krishna started doing contrast between who is a Mudha, who is a Amudha, Vidwan, Avidwan, you'll see in life 4 or 5 verses constantly contrasting. Huh? So now this verse is saying now you should situate in Vidwan, in knowledge. Now in knowledge, how do you get situated? Krishna gives 4 points. And also is also indirectly, first time referring in Bhagavad Gita about surrendering unto me indirectly here. Let's see how. My sarvani karmani. So my refers to me. Krishna is saying me. How many karma you have to give to me? Sarvani karmani. There's no karma which is out of which we cannot give to Krishna. Now, how do you give sleep to Krishna? Yes, we can give sleep to Krishna. How? If you do not rest in this body, we have this constraints. We have to rest 6 hours, 7 hours, so that you can serve Krishna next day. My sarvani karmani. What do you have to do with sarva karma? The word here uses sannyas. Now, sannyas obviously is a big word in itself, but here we can take a simple translation as given by Prabhupada, giving up completely. Huh? Sannyas refers to samyak nyas. Nyas means sthiti, situation, some complete original constitutional sthiti. This is called sannyas. Huh? So you give sarvani karmani, give up completely with 4 points. First is adhyatma chetasa. Adhyatma refers to the spiritual, chetasa is the consciousness. The chetasa itself is a big subject matter. Just take as a consciousness for now. So adhyatma chetasa, so your consciousness should be spiritual, not material. Nirashir, Prabhupada writes here, without desires for profit. Huh? So we should not again seek benefit. You are, it says Atithi Seva, I'm just remembering, it can be many examples. When Atithi comes in your house, a guest comes in your house, guest without giving the date, no RSVP given, no, and then you serve him nicely. It says the benefits are unlimited. Lantidev Maharaj, for example, I'm remembering one. So you should not serve with that benefit in your mind. I'm serving this person, so I'll get that benefit. Huh? That is not nirashir. Nirashir means I need to do my duty. No? So our Vedic culture is very duty bound. But again, there's a purpose. The first word is important here, and the ordering is also important. The first is, first your consciousness should become adhyatma. Adhyatma chetsa, with full knowledge of me. Prabhupada writes, full knowledge of me. Nirashir, without desire for profit. Nirmamo. Nirmama refers to mama, nirmama. Mama refers to mama bhuta maheshwaram, mine. Huh? Me and mine. We talk about it. It's the drama, me and mine as well. Huh? No proprietorship, no feeling of proprietorship. I am the owner of this community. I am the leader. I'm the president. I own the house. I run the company. Nirmamo. So it's not said you don't own a company, you don't own a house, you don't own a family. What is said? Nirmamo. The feeling of possessiveness should not be there, that they are my servant. No, I'm also their servant. I'm just doing my job. Indra became very conscious of his position. Of you see in the little Krishna, I'm sure you would have seen, kids are watching. Indra's guru is saying, Indra, you're just doing your duty. Indra said, no, I can do anything I like. Huh? So there you can see, nirmama is not there. Duty is there, duty is fine. Nirmama, no sense of proprietorship in terms of duty or in terms of possessions. Bhutva yuddha yasva, which is a yuddha, vigat jwaraha. So jwara, Prabhupada writes, says without lethargy. So jwara refers to lethargy. So when you get jwara, everyone knows, bukhar, temperature, we are lethargic. Aaj aram se. So he's saying, vigat jwaraha, let your lethargy go. And he said the same word, you remember? Atandritaha. 324 or 23, I don't remember the number, but he said atandrita, without lethargy. So 4 topics he is giving in this particular verse. With those 4, mai sarvani karmani, give all those. So first is Adhyatma Chetasa, your Prabhupada has full knowledge of me, or be conscious of me, be spiritual. Second, he says, Nirashir, don't think that what profit I'm going to get, because in this current world, we all run on profit. Hame kya milega? I want to make friendship with you. Why? What is my profit? Because he is a big CEO or something. If I lose my job, Prabhuji will help me. Huh? I'm not saying that Prabhuji will, but but I'm saying people work on the profit. They make friendship with the profit. If someone is a crorepati, he will have friendship with whom? Crorepati. He will not let Lakhpati come in his society. Lakhpati is a garib aadmi, he's a poor man. If the doctors are there, doctor, no, not you, you're a devotee doctor. People go for the same. Why? Benefit. What mind? Politicians will go with politicians. Huh? A drunkard will go with drunkard. And where the devotees will go? With devotees. We're also looking for profit. But our profit is Adhyatma Chetasa. Huh? We are looking one profit. We are also looking profit. But what is the spiritual benefit I'm going to get in the association of these devotees? Let me go in the association of devotees. Huh? Adhyatma Chetasa. 331. Okay, someone online who would Jai Prakash Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Ye me matam idam nityam.
Ye me matam idam nityam.
Anutistanti manavaha.
Anutistanti manavaha.
Shraddhavanto anusuyanto.
Shraddhavan anusuyanto.
Muchante pi karma bhihi.
Muchante te karma bhihi.
Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow their teachings faithfully without envy become free from the bondages of fruitive actions.
So these 31 and 32 verses are based on faith. So again, contrast is given. So 31, Krishna is saying, if you have faith, what will happen? And 32, Krishna will say, if you don't have faith, then what will happen? In faith in what? In the knowledge he has just given. What knowledge he is trying to give? He is trying to connect himself with the actions of the people. Huh? So he's trying to say, become Vidwan, be unattached with your duties, and be spiritually conscious of all your things, right? Do not look for benefit. So all these instructions which he has just given, now is sort of concluding and saying, if you have faith in my these instructions, what will happen? 31. If you don't have faith in my instruction, what will happen? So we're reading the first one, the positive one. Ye me matam idam. So idam refers to just what we have just spoken. Mata refers to opinion. Yato mat tatho pat, we say in Hindi or in Bengali, we say. So mata refers to opinion. And in the current world, there's most of the fight of opinions. We disagree. We disagree. Whatever others say, we disagree. That's why this Yuga is known as Kali Yuga. Kalah ka yuga. Kalah means quarrel, disagreement. Fight only happens sometimes. Fight means with Mukkalat. They say we start with Ista Gosti, we end up with Mukha Gosti. Ista Gosti means we are exchanging our opinions, and end of it, what happens? Mukha Gosti. They were all on each other. So, ye me matam. So, me matam. So, Krishna is saying, my opinion. Look at Krishna. Now, he's a supreme authority. What he's saying? My mata. And what we said, maine kaha hai, I have said, you have to do it. Arey bhai, who are you? But Krishna, you'll see this word again and again. He's used in 6th chapter, he used in 18th chapter. Krishna is constantly saying, my mata, my mata. So this is how actually we should behave. As much as possible, my mata, my opinion. If you like, you follow. If you don't like, thank you, Hare Krishna. Then we are safe. Ye me matam idam nityam. Nityam refers to always. So one who always sort of respects this, my opinion, which I have just given. Anutistanti. Tistanti refers to sit. Tistanti word you can say sitting. Anutistanti means complete sit. We call it nishtha. So in the 9 processes, 9 process of the devotions that we say, nishtha is there. So ishtha refers to situation. Ni means not moving from that situation. That's called nishtha. So anutishtanti, so it's not going to move from that situation. Manavaha, those humans who appreciates my opinion. Shraddha, Shraddha refers to faith, who have faith. And faith how? Shraddhavanto Anusuyanto. Anusuyanto refers to Anusuya. Atri and Anusuya. Everyone has heard the name? So what does Atri mean? Tra refers to three modes of material nature. Who does not get in touch with three modes of material nature, that's called Atri. There is no goodness, passion, or ignorance there. We are all three. We are under three, isn't it? I am, at least. I'm not sure about the devotees here. So he's Atri and his wife is Anusuya. He's not having any suya, any envy towards others. It's called Anusuya. Such a beautiful names, huh? We call Atri Anusuya, Atri Anusuya. What's the meaning? And then Dattatreya comes. So we have to read all this. So nice. So Anusuyanto, if you don't have Anusuya, don't have envy, you have Shraddha in my instructions. Muchante. Muchante means, everyone know this. Chordo. Putana said to Krishna, little Krishna, Muchante, 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 leave me, leave me, leave me. Draupadi saying to Ashwatthama, to actually Arjun, Muchante, Muchante, leave Ashwatthama, leave Guruputra, leave Guruputra. Muchante means getting out of the bondage. Which bondage? Karma bihi. So the person, bottom line, person who has no envy and have Shraddha, in my opinion, in my instruction, those manavas, Muchante tepi karma, they will come out of the material bondage. Is it clear? Very simple and beautiful words. So what Krishna is basically looking for, not looking for our intellect. So Prabhuji, how many shlokas do you know? How much marks did you get in Bhakti Shastri? He's not looking for that. What he's looking for? Shraddha and Anusuya. Anusuya means no envy. Now we can expand on these words as well, but we'll move forward. Beautiful verse. Follow Krishna without any envy. Krishna's instruction. And Krishna is so humble. Ye me matam idam. Matam. Why he has to use the word mata? I don't understand. Unless he's humble. Because we feel we are authoritative. Krishna is not feeling like that. You know, when we feel authoritative, when we are empty from inside, we want to do something, nothing happens, we become authority because we are empty in the heart. Krishna is full in his heart. Krishna's devotee also full in his heart. They don't need anyone to give you a certificate that you are great, Prabhuji. They don't need it from outside. They are fully traptaha, atma traptaha, like Krishna. And they're always in their own world, they're in their world. So others don't have to give certificate. Duryodhana was always worried. Why? He needed a certificate from Pandavas. When Draupadi Vastran was happening, he said to Draupadi, if you just say once that Yudhishthira was adharmi, he was not following dharma, I will leave everything. He said to Draupadi. I was impressed. He said to Draupadi, if you just say Yudhishthira was adharmi, he was not following the religion, I will leave you, I will leave your husband, I will leave everything. Now, which woman will not say this? And you say to the husband later, it's okay, yaar. I got you released, I got you out of bondage. What was there? I just said, Draupadi didn't say that. Draupadi did not follow a religion. She said, my husband cannot be religious. After all this we are talking, after all that. She went to Dhritarashtra and Dhritarashtra says, my dear daughter, whatever happened wasn't good. You can ask anything you want, any one thing. So what does she ask? You remember? Release Yudhishthira Maharaj. I was like, what a lady of a character. The first person she asked for release is Yudhishthira Maharaj. Now you can say he was the cause of the whole thing. Draupadi says, release my husband. So, and the Dhritarashtra goes, you can ask something else as well. He said, release all my 5 husbands. He said, ask something else. Release all my 5 husbands with all their weapons. He said, I'm not satisfied. Ask something more. And the Draupadi goes, a Kshatrani only asks for 3 boons, not more than that. Kunti also did the same thing. She only asked 3 boons, not the 4th one. She said, no. Although Pandu said, you can ask 4th. She said, no. A Kshatrani only asks for the 3 boons. Look at this character. Draupadi never said, this is irreligious. She would have turned the whole thing around. She didn't do that, following the dharma. No matter what happens, they follow the dharma. They are anutishtanti manavaha. Anutishtanti. Nishtha cannot move. Nishtha like a banyan tree, Jiva Goswami says. Banyan tree, that's called Nishthavan. We think we are devotees, huh? Nishtha. Do we have that Nishtha in Krishna? As soon as a little calamity comes, we go looking for the phone numbers of astrologers. Huh? Which astrologer was? Prabhuji, Mataji, huh? Which one? That, this, I don't know to name so many things because we just don't have it. We don't have it. Huh? Nishtha. What about prema? Prema is too far. First situate yourself in Nishtha. What to speak of Nishtha, we don't even in our Sakti level. Anyway, so you understand this? Shraddha vanto nasuyanto. Shraddha, faith. Krishna is saying it must work. It must work, no matter what. This just seems to be the cause of the problem. Doesn't matter. I will follow my dharma. She never said. And the first person asks is Yudhishthir. She could have said, give me Arjun. Yudhishthir is just rascal. She could have said, give me Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir is a personified religion. Okay, 32. Huh? Let's reconnect first, okay? So Samit Prabhu is saying we have less than a minute. 1:45, we can start reading. Okay, 32. Anyone can read 32? Who is there? Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna, please. It will get disconnected, don't mind. We'll join again.
Okay, Prabhuji. Jetu yatat abhashyanto.
Etat abhyasuyanto.
No yunutistanti me matam.
Nanutistanti me matam.
Sarvogyanam vimurang sthana.
Sarvagyana vimurastan.
Vidhi nastan achetasah.
Vidhi nashtan achetasaha.
Hare Krishna.
Translation, Prabhu?
Okay, one second. But those who, out of envy, disregard that teaching and do not follow them regularly are to be considered worthless of all knowledge, befolded and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. So we'll see you back again. Perfect time, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we'll start second line. Mamatam, same he is using. Na anutisthanti. So they do not agree with that, what I said. They are abhyasuyanto. Abhyasuyanto refers to out of envy. You know, sometimes you convince something out of logic and they understand your point, but they still, no, but actually I'm not going to hear you. You've seen this, experienced it? By logic, by no logic, their action is to be justified. But they will say, no, I'm going to do it anyway. There was one example given, one American comedian, Chaitanya Prabhu mentions that in his lecture. He says, I've already made up my mind. Don't confuse me with the facts. I've already made up my mind. Don't confuse me with the facts. So how did you make up your mind? Huh? They just want to do whatever they want to do. So if you prove them that their action is not correct, they will still not listen. And this world is full of these sort of people, full of these sort of people. Radhanath Maharaj says, the common sense is the most uncommon thing in the present world. Common sense is the most uncommon thing in the present world. Many things can be solved just by common sense. It doesn't make sense, but no, that's called envy, ego. Huh? So out of envy, abhyasuyanto, nanutasanti me. They do not listen me or my instruction or my opinion. Sarvagyana vimurasta. Who they are? Whatever knowledge they may have. They may be big philosophers and scientists and blah, blah, blah. Sarvagyan, actually they are bewildered. Huh? Vidhi nashtan achetasaha. So their chetasa is referred as achetasa. They are without Krishna consciousness. So they are not situated in a correct platform. I'll read again. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of knowledge, befooled, vimudasta, befooled and ruined in their nashtan, in their endeavors for perfection. So they may think, you know, I'm growing and growing and growing in the world. But Prahladanand Maharaj was giving a class, I remember, and he was saying any knowledge which is not giving Krishna or this Krishna conscious knowledge, it's ignorance. Someone was saying we have knowledge of rocket, we have knowledge of this and that, but actually it's ignorance. In the ultimate platform, it's ignorance because it is actually binding you in the material nature, and Krishna conscious knowledge is liberating you in the material world. So everything is ignorant. Now everything may have a temporary place, and that's fine. We all may have our livelihood. We have one of our friends, he's a nuclear scientist. He came and Gaurgopal was asking, is he going to make a bomb in our house? And he was coming and visiting me. He's a nuclear scientist by profession, but he's a devotee. But that's what his profession is. It doesn't mean he makes bombs, but he works in the industry which does all these things. So that has a place, but that place we understand and we place that thing in that place only. We don't make it a whole lot of it. Oh, no, this is everything. It's all right. It's just a branch of knowledge for a livelihood. That's it. Okay, 33. Who has not done it? And anyone?
Hare-
Sonia Mataji is ready? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sadrisham chestate swasya
Sadrasham cheshase swasyaha
prakritir jnanavanapi
prakate jnanavanapi
prakritim yanti bhutani
prakate yanti bhutani
nigraha kim karishyati.
nigraha kim karishyati.
Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Hare Krishna.
This is a very nice and famous verse. I'll tell you why it's famous in a negative way. So, Sadhusam Chestase Swasyaha. So, Chesta, the Chesta refers to endeavor. Swasyaha refers to their own endeavor. Sadhusam, so whatever they like. Prakrtir Gyanvanapi. So, whatever nature has given, they do chesta, they do endeavor in that direction. So, some people are very softy, some people are very hardy. Some people are, different natures. We'll say, "Unka nature hi aisa hai." You see someone and they look like angry. They say, my face is like that. So everyone has, and whenever they do any chesta, any endeavor or any work, they will do as per their nature. You will see, Prabhu, don't give this seva to this person. He's, not very suitable. Not that the person is not suitable. For that seva, he may not be compatible. So you try to get someone else to do that seva. Because Prakriti has given a nature. Now, how that nature is achieved is a different discussion altogether. Basically, in one line, we can say, because you have told nature to be like that, so nature made you like that. One example comes to my mind. If you like to oversleep, you become a bear in the next life. No? The nature of the bear is to sleep for 6 months, hibernating. But how did this nature he acquired? Based on his activities in the previous life. A lion wants to eat a raw meat because he had eaten raw meat so many times. Nature has given a body. Okay, you only eat raw meat now. No cooked meat will be given to you. So that's another discussion altogether. But he has acquired a nature, and based on the nature, lion will act, bear will act, a human will act based on the nature. So whatever Shesta will do is given by Prakriti in that sense. So Prakriti Yanti Bhutani, Bhutani refers to the Jiva. So Prakriti is running Nigraha Kim Karishyati. Now this part of this verse, Nigraha Kim Karishyati, is being taken by some organizations. I'll not name them. We know some of them. And they say the bottom line, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is this line. Nigraha Kim Karishyati. Nigraha means control, Kim Karishyati. What a control will do. Basically, what they want to justify through Bhagavad Gita, whatever desires you have, and humanly default desires, what are the default desires? Negative desires. Lust, greed, and anger. These are our default desires in conditioned state. So they say, Bhagavad Gita is saying, Nigraha Kim Karishyati. Why you have to control? Just express freely your desires. Express freely your desires. And there are organizations around the world. That's okay, Prabhu is naming it. So, Pune, name place sab aa gaya. So they take this line of the Bhagavad Gita and say, Nigraha Kim Karishyati. So obviously, Krishna is not meaning that here. So what Krishna is referring to here is two concepts. This verse is very, very important from that perspective. So Krishna is referring to two concepts. The first concept is called Vasana, and second is called Vritti. Vasana refers to all our lust, greed, and anger. And when we express, that's called Vasana. Vasana refers to the negative desires. When we express them in a irreligious way, that's called Vasana. And Vritti refers to our psychophysical nature given by nature, Mother Nature. Again, based on our previous activities. So Vritti refers to, he's a Vaishya Vritti. He's a Vaishya. Vaishya means money-minded. Kuch bhi karo, you're thinking about money. Brahman Vrati, he's self-satisfied. He gets up early in the morning. You don't have to tell, Prabhuji, have you chanted your rounds today? Prabhu, have you read your Bhagavad Gita today? He's just like a Brahman nature. Huh? Some are Shudra nature. Now Shudra, we're not talking about birth here. Krishna never talks about birth. We're talking the nature. So why we call Shudra Shudra in Vedic context? I'm talking because he is unable to do the sense control. A Brahman, he is fully able to do sense control. Kshatriya, you can see the middle part. You will have 50,000 queens, 3 queens. You are like big Rajya, big opulence. Generally speaking, Kshatriyas are like that. That's fine. As far as they are following the Vedic realm, it's fine. So Vaishya is okay, Kshatriya is okay. So when Kshatriya is following his duty, Brahman is following his duty, they are called Vritti, psychophysical nature given by the Prakriti. Now, if a Brahman starts thinking, let me act as a Kshatriya, will that work? Or a Kshatriya other way, like Arjun. He wants to change his Vritti. Although by psychophysical nature, he's a Kshatriya. When he is challenged, he cannot ignore. Yudhishthira Maharaj was challenged for a dice game. He said, I cannot ignore Kshatriya. Challenge, he cannot deny. That's why Yudhishthira Maharaj played the gamble game. There are many reasons. One of the reasons is why he gambled, because he was challenged. And as a Kshatriya, it is his duty to accept the challenge. So Krishna is saying, Nigra kim karashyati. If you want to suppress your psychophysical nature, the vritti given by the nature, you will not be able to accomplish. You want to become Brahman today, and tomorrow from Brahman you want to move to Vaishya. Then from Vaishya you want to move to Kshatriya. From Kshatriya you want to move again to Brahman. Because you always be thinking, what Mohit Prabhu is doing is easy, let me do his job. But actually he knows how difficult his job is, and he may be thinking another way about me. The grass on the other side is always greener. He's very happy. Ask him. Or he is very sad. He is like that. Let him do his duty, let me do my duty. Based on my guides, I should do my duty. So Krishna is saying, Nigra kim prashati as per vritti, not as per vasana. But they interpret it, rather I should say misinterpret in terms of vasana. So they say, express your desire freely. That means vasana. Krishna is not referring to vasana, and that will be proved in the next verse. We'll do one more verse and then we'll stop. 34. I wanted to finish it till 35 because 36 is a new section. Let's see. So 34, Krishna will clarify what he meant by Nigra Kim Karishyati in verse 33. Let's read this verse. Madhuri Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Indriyasyadriyasyarthe
Indriyarthe
Raga dvesau vyavastitau
Raga dvesha vyavastitau
Tayorna vasam agachet Tauhasya paripantinau. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization.
So indriyasyarthe. So indriya refers to senses. Indriyasyarthe, indriya artha. Indriya refers to sense objects. What's the artha of my eyes? To look some beautiful picture, for example. What's the artha of my ear? To listen some nice music. Artha of my tongue is to eat nice, say, food stuff. So indriya artha refers to sense object, indriya refers to senses. So senses and sense objects in the first line. What is situated in between senses and sense object? Raga, dvesha, vyavastita. So if I'm looking at, say, a picture here, for example, of Radha Madhav, very beautiful picture. Who's looking? My eyes are looking. And I may get attached to the picture, say Raga, or I may have dvesha. Why Krishna is standing with all these gopis? Why not me? Prabhupada said, you want to become Gopi Janmalla? First become Girivardhari. You said that example. Before Gopi Janmalla, become, but people are. Oh, why Krishna is standing there? I should be standing. Actually, I can't remember the name. Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael Jackson. I heard that in a lecture. When he saw Krishna book and he saw that picture of Krishna dancing with the gopis, he said, actually it's published, he said, I should be here instead of Krishna. He said that. Michael Jackson. He was received Krishna. He was given Krishna book by someone somewhere. So he said, he was flipping around, maybe devotee was showing. So he said, I should be here in this place. So many girls are there. So this is what their mindset is. When we appreciate a picture of Krishna, they will think, picture is very nice, but only one thing is wrong. What is wrong? Instead of Krishna, just put me there. Huh? So raga and dvesha, we may have attachment or aversion. Now, material, mundane people may think we are mad and we think the other way about them. Huh? But the point here is between indriya, senses and sense objects, what's situated? Two things, raga and dvesha. And based on that, we act. So we get attracted to that particular object or activity, or we get aversion. This is not good for me. Huh? Tayon means in this indriya and indriya artha, na vasham agachet. You should not come under the control of raga and dvesha. What Krishna is saying? You should not come under the control of raga and dvesha because they are situated between indriya and indriya artha, between senses and sense objects. Huh? Why you should not get attracted? Why you should not come under their control? Thus, he asya paripanthino. Paripanthino refers to Prabhupada, stumbling blocks. If you want to develop it spiritually and you come under the control of raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion, what will happen to you? Stumbling blocks. So you're basically embracing your failures, embracing your failures. If I get attracted to sense objects, which are not Krishna conscious, what I'm embracing? Paripanthino. Paripanthino refers to stumbling blocks. So I am personally endeavoring my failures. Let me fail in my spiritual life. Why? Because I'm just giving up myself everywhere. Whatever sense object comes, I just give in myself. Whatever sense object, I give in myself. What will happen to you? You will never go to the pinnacle of success, which is to become a devotee. Why? Because you are giving your indriya for indriya artha. You are giving your senses for the sense objects. If you are eating, for example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Sarup Damodar, which was told to Raghunath Das Goswami, Jihvar lalsai iti utidhai shishno dar parayana Krishna nahi paye. Jihvar lalsai. Lalsa means desire of jiva. Jiva refers to the tongue. Jihvar lalsai iti utidhai. He goes here and there, here and there. He constantly looking which restaurant have nice food, nice food. For example, Jihvar lalsai iti utidhai. Dhai means dodna. He runs around here and there just to fulfill the desire of the tongue. What happens to this person? Shishno dar parayana. Shishna refers to the private organs and udar refers to the stomach. He will come under the control of Shishna and Udar, private genitals and Udar, stomach. Shishna dar parayana, Krishna nahi paye. He will not be able to get Krishna. So if we are just giving in, and there's one example of Jiva, which is very strong. So if we are giving all our indriyas for idhar udar, they're just here and there, we are embracing paripanthana. Okay, don't give me success, don't give me success. So that verse, let's back to 33. In Krishna is not talking about vasana. He's talking about prati. If you're talking about vasana, you should say, yeah, give in. Nigra kim parishyati. But he's saying, no, don't give in. So what it refers to, don't give in indriya artha unnecessarily. But this is not indriya artha looking at Radha Madhav. This is not indriya artha of a mundane word. This is indriya artha of a spiritual word. We say, look at Radha Madhav, look at Radha Gopinath, take prasad, hear Krishna's music, hear Krishna Katha. Makes sense? So Nigra refers to here what? Nigra Kim Parashati. Vritti should not be done under control. So if you are a Brahman Vritti, which Vritti soul has? Anyone? What's the Vritti soul? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Which Vritti soul has? Brahman. Anyone else? Huh? Above all. None of the above. Sorry, Mata. All options are incorrect. Soul is not Brahman. Soul is not Kshatriya. Soul is a pure devotee of Krishna. So soul, where is written that all the Brahmans are Krishna? No. Soul is neither Brahman. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I can't remember the Sanskrit verse. He says, I'm Naham Vipro na Sannyasi. He says, I'm not Brahman, I'm not Sannyasi, na Gahapatir, I'm not a Grahastha. What I am the servant of Gopi Pad Kamalayor Dasa nu Dasa. I forgot the first few lines, but we understand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, I'm not Brahman, I'm not a Sannyasi, I'm not a Grahastha, I'm not a Vanaprasthi, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm none of them. What I am, I'm the servant of the Lord. That is our situations. We are not Brahman Kshatriya now. But you may be a Brahman, that's fine, but that is only fine when that your Brahmanatva is leading you towards Krishna. Your Kshatriya is leading towards Krishna. His Vaishya is leading towards Krishna. Nanda Maharaj is a Vaishya. No problem. If you are a Vaishya, no problem with that. You are a Brahman, no problem with that. Only problem we have if you're not Krishna conscious. And that also Krishna, ye me matam idam nityam. Krishna is saying, this is my opinion. So humble. He's not instructing, do like that. No. Ye me matam idam nityam anutishyanti manavaha. Wow, look at Krishna's nature. So sweet. We'll do one more verse if that's okay with everyone. Usually I stop at 6:15 because we had an interruption of 20 minutes today. We'll finish this section. Next week we'll start 36, Arjuna Uvacha. Avishri Bhagavan Uvacha, last one. Who will read last? कौन पढ़ेगा? कौन बनेगा करोड़पति? हरि बोल. Rupam Prabhu will become करोड़पति.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shreyan swadharmo viguna.
Shreyan swadharmo viguna.
Paradharmat swa anushtitat.
Paradharma swanushritat.
Swadharme nidhanam shreya.
Swadharme nidhanam shreya.
Paradharmo bhayavaha.
Paradharmo bhayavaha.
Translation: it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than others' duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
335, another famous verse by non-Vedic culture followers. So 333 is same. People misuse Bhagavad Gita. This is called misuse of Bhagavad Gita. Chaitanya Prabhu actually was using a very strong word. He said, Prabhu said, so don't quote me here. He said, it's called the rape of Bhagavad Gita. He said this word. Because you know what Bhagavad Gita is trying to say, you're completely misinterpreting that. Completely misinterpreting that. This is also another verse which some people, some organizations take this verse for their purpose. Like we have 921, sorry, Yog Shem Vahamiyam. Who has taken that verse? Not inappropriately, but incompletely. LIC in India, they say, Yog Shem Vahamiyam. What you will do, Yog Shem Vahamiyam? Krishna is our maintainer. But they say, Yog Shem Vahami Aham. LIC will do your palan. I'm the maintainer. Achha. You are so big, huh? So this is called inappropriate usage of Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, they're saying Shreya Swadharma Vigna. Now, what Swadharma refers to? Now, Swadharma can have multiple interpretations. Let's take the contextual interpretation. What does Swadharma refers to here? Now, dharma itself is a huge word. Swadharma here. Vritti dharma. We just said that. The dharma of your vritti. So you're a Brahman, you have a Swadharma. Huh? We are not talking about paradharma here. So para and apara refers to the material duties, apara refers to the, we are not talking there. Here, Swadharma refers to your vritti duties, the duties, prescribed duties of your vritti. Shreyan, it's better. And now Shreya and Freya, you remember, Freya refers to short-term benefit, Shreya refers to long-term benefit is to follow Swadharma. If you are a Brahman, behave like a Brahman. If you are Kshatriya, behave like a Kshatriya. Although Viguna refers to quality as well. So Viguna refers to, we have word called karma, akarma, and vikarma. So Viguna refers to even your following dharma is faulty. Viguna, not very gunavan. He said that person is not very gunavan, not very quality person. Huh? So Viguna refers to even if you follow your swadharma faultly, you have some faults. Example, some Brahmins, okay, we'll take Manusmriti. Manusmriti gives prescriptions of some yagyas where you have to do bali. It's written actually. It's written. You have to do bali. Now, if you're a Brahman and if you're performing that yajna as a purohit for your yajman, you have to do bali. Now, to understand this itself is big, but Brahmins can avoid this, but it's given. So now you say, I will not do bali, but if you're a purohit, you have to do your duty, right? You have to do bali. Now, how you do bali and all that is a different topic. In Kali Yuga, bali is not allowed. Ashwamedh yajna, for example, we have Gomedh yajna as well, where bali was recommended as a Manusmriti, but done by qualified Brahmins for a qualified purpose. Now, neither qualified Brahmanas are there, not qualified purpose is there. Purpose is to eat, and no Brahman is a Brahman. None of them, many of them are not a Brahman. So, Viguna refers to even some faults are involved, you still follow Swadharma. Huh? Talking about Vritti Dharma, definitely not Vasna, and not talking about Paradharma here. Paradharma, now here Paradharma does not refers to Parodharma. Paradharma refers to another dharma of the Vritti. Like if he is a Kshatriya, I'm a Brahman, so I should not follow his dharma. Arjun is a Kshatriya. What he is saying? Par dharma, Brahman dharma. I will live by begging alms. That is very nice for. That's what Arjun is saying, right? So Krishna is saying, no, Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna. You are saying I have to kill Bhishma Pitama? It's still all right. It's still all right. Your dharma has faults. Yes, I'm accepting it has faults. Shreya, wherever there's a fire, there is a smoke. But because a smoke is there, ladies will not stop cooking in the kitchen because there's a smoke. No, the smoke will come with the fire. But all the smoke is there, they will do appropriate cooking with the Agni and then they will just extinguish the Agni. So Shreyam Sadharma Vigna par dharma so anushita. So anushita refers to even if you do others dharma perfectly. Perfectly. So you think I can become a perfect Brahman, although I don't have any qualities of being Brahman. He said, Brahman, what they have to do? They just do puja and they look at their tummy. Everyone respects them. They get so much dachina. Look very nice, very attractive career offer. But ask the Brahmana how happy they are. If they were happy, all the South Indian Brahmanas, they sent their sons to America to become computer engineers. Why? They were not happy with their vritti. All the South Indian Brahmanas and North Indians as well. You're from North India? No, it's okay. I'm also from North India. They become software engineers. Why? They are not following their vritti. They think another vritti. And now which vritti we are following? Shudra vritti. Sorry to say. Shudra. One definition of Shudra is he takes salary. I take salary. As per that definition, we are in that category. So, Shreya Swadharma Vigna par dharma so anushitat. Why? Swadharme nidhinam shreyaha. So, if you follow your dharma, Prabhupada, destruction in the course of performing one's duties is so. Swadharme, if you are following your dharma and nidhan ho jata hai, you die or the things get destructed. As Arjun is saying, I may die, my swajan may die. Swadharme nidhana, still it's better. Par dharmo bhayava. If you follow another dharma, is bhayava, is dangerous. So the gist of the verse is, you should follow your own dharma. Although your dharma may have some faults, you may have some faults, but you should still follow, because if you follow another's dharma, it can become dangerous. Let's give some examples from the Vedic culture. Parashuram. Parashuram's father was Jamdagni Rishi. He was born in a Brahman family and his father was a Brahman. But what he was end up becoming in a Kshatriya. He acted like a Kshatriya. Was it a very nice thing? Actually, in one sense, he created a mess. So he had a purpose as well. But he created a mess. He killed so many people, just the fault of few sons of Sahasrabhu. He killed 21 generations because his mother cried 21 times by hitting her chest. He said, 21 times I'll remove the Kshatriyas. That was too much, too much. Huh? You killed my father, I killed your father. That also inappropriate, but 21 generations because my mother tried 21 times by hitting her chest. So that was too much. Huh? We see Vishwamitra Muni, born as a Kshatriya, became a Brahman. On the journey, he had issues. Huh? We are not putting their issues at the front, but just for a learning purpose, he had issues. Huh? He could not tolerate because he's a Kshatriya by nature. Medika comes, he's down. Brahma comes, he's down. Down with anger. First down with Kama, then down with anger. They're both anarthas. Huh? He became down. What he wanted to become Vasishtha Muni. Vasishtha Muni. Huh? Anyway, long term, because he became a devotee, everything got settled. But the point here which Shastra is trying to make, if you're situated, if your vritti is something like a Vaishya, it's perfectly fine because devotional service can be performed from any platform. You can start devotional service from any platform. Now, the sustenance has to be done in mode of goodness. Sustenance of the devotional service, you can say you go to Harinam in the city, you chant Hare Krishna, some drunkards joined. I went to Harinam one day, some drunkard, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now, are they devotees? No. They perform devotional service? Yes. But can they perform devotional service in a sustained way? Tomorrow morning, they will start chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds a day. They'll come to temple, go down. No, forget it. They just chanted, they laughed, and they went away. Now they got a Gyat Sukriti. But the point is, sustenance has to be done in the platform of goodness. But initiation can be started from any point. So we're talking about Shreya. Shreya refers to sustenance. If you want to sustain long term, what you have to do? Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Par Dharma. Don't follow another's duty. Because if you start following another duties whimsically, what will happen? You will become irresponsible. Today you like this, you go here. Tomorrow you like that, you go there. what will happen to the society? You will not be able to hear the Acharati Seshtas. Okay, there are a couple of reasons Krishna gives in this verse. Now we'll stop obviously 6:29. So next week we'll start a last section of this verse, which is one of the most practical section of Bhagavad Gita, not of this chapter, of the Bhagavad Gita, because Arjun will explain our mind very openly, and Krishna will try to resolve in the subsequent verses. Okay, if anyone has any questions, I'm sorry, please write it. We'll take it next week. And next week we are meeting in Glenfield. Is that right? Okay. Any other announcements? Okay. All good. Sorry, we had to not use your 20 minutes earlier, and I used that later. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. God.
Jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.